look at it. But it is for 2 single-family residential lots.
That piece of property could easily accommodate 2 residential lots. But the fact that it's not complying with our development code is problematic. And on that piece of property, I don't know how you could do it differently.
There's, when you look at the aerial photos, there's a lot of these, and they probably date back decades. Long, thin,
Linear,
long, thin
ag.
lot.
The neighboring lot that comes off of, what is it, Janet,
A Cherry Lane or,
off the cul-de-sac to the north,
Mm-hmm.
it's that way. I mean, if you, I don't even know if you can fit a driveway coming off that cul-de-sac onto the property. You know, not that it really affects this, but to your point that there's unique access challenges,
Very.
so.
Yeah,
Well, there-
accessing that even the 2 properties behind it,
5216 or 5208.
Right, that's where I was talking.
yes, there's no access to those pieces of property.
So I mean, we're gonna have to get creative to allow people to utilize the property at some point, anyway.
I think years ago, or even now, people would buy up those, land was relatively cheap, people would buy up the parcel, wait for the next one to come on the market when they had
Mhm.
market share. Now we're gonna come in and build a subdivision.
Right.
And,
And put a straight through there.
yeah, it's,
That would be the greater potential. That's far-fetched for now.
Since y'all don't seem to be concerned about the fire lane situation, and you don't seem to be particularly concerned about the fire lane situation, I'll move on from that. But my bigger concern now, and it's really my only concern I have left, is that to the point that it's 2 unique properties. When you rezone it, you have 2 unique properties. Somewhere down the line, when we have these deviations from code, that's communicated well to a future buyer, because I don't wanna have somebody having a war saying you're driving on my driveway to get to your house.
So
For you all.
the access easement is going to be the critical component
Right.
for that. And so however that gets designed is gonna have to be shown on the plat, cause that gets filed at the county clerk's office, and then any transaction in the future, that plat is part of that as far as the title search goes. So it will always be on that plat until a new plat is filed to replace that, if that ever happens. That's the best way to make sure that it's there in perpetuity until
Sure.
a plat encompasses this and that removes it.
And I mean, it looks like a beautiful idea what they're trying to do. It very much reminds me of the way they built like 3 adjacent houses in the beach cities in Southern California, where they have a shared driveway. And while it's perfect for you all right now, I worry about down the line, somebody just parks there and then the neighbors having their car towed and ridiculous, silly things happening because people don't want to cooperate.
Which is typically why we have regulation, or a lot of communities have these exact regulations.
we're being asked to make a lot of exceptions to do this. That's what concerns me based on our meeting about, we have land development code, doing that. Had they thought about if they were to move the street to the north side? I know we have similar issues on another plat, but put that driveway on the north side, rotate the houses 90 degrees. So instead of having their front yard and their backyard shared, twist those houses 90 degrees, set them back a little bit, put a wider street up there, and then we and name it whatever they wanna name it. And everybody's a winner then. I mean,
Are you effectively saying this becomes a public street?
that becomes a public street.
Yes, that's
That's,
the only way they can do that without asking for the variance.
and
They're,
it, in the sense of a compound, just build a wall around it. You know, I think we allow that, don't we? They want to enclose it with brick or something.
if it's a public street, we only allow for up to 25% opaque within the front yard setback.
But then they could do it with
The
landscape.
rest of it could be, yeah.
That kind
I
of
mean,
goes
I'm
back,
speaking for them, but an actual public street is very expensive, doesn't make sense for two lots.
Okay.
that kind of goes back to my original question. If it was like rezoned R40 and it was a developer building 3 homes, acre plus size homes, then it would be a public street.
Yes.
That, you know, when does it become feasible? When is I don't, you know,
I mean, we had the request for 4 lots. I don't know if between 4 and 3 lots is that difference maker, or if it's even the 2 lots, I don't know.
Yeah, cause that's I mean, where my head's at right now, I wanna think about it and go, you know, but it's just, it's a big variance from what, you know, what the land development code says, and you are either creating a flag lot. Or you have a home that doesn't have street frontage, and it just doesn't, there's gotta be a way to maybe accomplish what they want that doesn't create those 2 issues.
Well, we have to remember too that, as lovely as this idea may be, it could potentially set a precedent for future properties, future requests of a similar nature. So that's another consideration.
I mean, we're as a staff, we're in agreement. It's one of those situations where I don't know the answer.
Well, the land development code is our guide. Unless there's some way to situate the homes differently so that street.
Yeah, that becomes it's got like a public street.
Yeah.
Well, the house to the north faces Blue Bonnet as well. I recall that like ranch style house. So they're,
The adjacent property?
yes, sir, yeah, just to
Yeah,
the north.
it goes
So
on our
they
way.
would be looking at this, facing, if they face their houses north, they'd be facing just right at the side of his house. Or that homeowner's barns.
They are facing towards Blue Bonnet, but
There's some
they have 8
vertical,
acres or so.
Yeah,
some
there's
vertical
really
drop there
drawn.
though.
Yeah,
This lot
That's
would
5
almost be
acres.
looking into a hillside.
If it were facing this way,
Yeah.
yes. Mhm.
Questions? Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, if you do have any thoughts after the meeting, just let us know and we'll pass them on to the applicant.
Okay, well, that was the only item we had on our agenda tonight, so without further.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yes.
I just had one more thought. Again, with the drive. You all considered like a secondary access that just goes straight? As opposed to sharing the circle? There, okay. So instead of coming around the circle, something that comes off of like the north corner from Blue Bonnet, so it's almost like there's 2 separate drives, since you've already got a 24-foot width up for the fire lane and the turnaround, all that looks feasible. But that way there'd always be a secondary access point and a pass through.
Are you talking about like a horseshoe
Something-
U-turn type deal or?
I think you're talking about
Right.
just the second one.
So like this drive, a block deep, can always serve this house. And the secondary drive that comes here, because this is 24 feet, which means that even if you're parked along here, there's still access to the back for the future. But coming here, this could be a secondary drive, and then also if there was a fire, my earlier conversation about the sports cars out of the question, because they can just breeze right through the back.
What about access points on Blue Water there?
So instead of you saying connecting here, keep going like this,
No.
This way.
Where you'd have
He's
two
saying
separate
two
ones.
gates.
Two
Yeah, he's saying
separate,
keep this
okay.
and
Two
then do a
separate
second one
drives.
right there.
Will the city allow another access from outside on such a narrow property?
I don't know the answer to that question,
Yeah,
so.
I
You
just
see what I'm
looked at our master thoroughfare map right here. Blue Bonnet is considered a local street.
Yeah.
So that should not be an issue. We do have some spacing requirements, but that should have plenty of spacing to accommodate two drives.
and are
I
those
think-
existing
I think
trees?
we're not opposed to that. That's a good compromise. I think it's a very small area of turn right there in the concrete that could go straight ahead. And I think it makes sense. I'm sure fire marshal will be happy. I mean, it's extra cost to us, but I think if that improves where we at today, it's probably gonna be pretty feasible. And the biggest challenge here is really your lot is very narrow. So I heard some comments to turn some to 90 degrees, and it's almost impossible. If you look at the last developer that submitted the 4 lots and the street, I mean, it's very unlikely that anybody will come in and try to build that kind of a home in a very small, facing the Blue Bonnet, but it's like L shape, or you can't do L shape if you're gonna do 3 lots, but you could do straight, and it's very narrow. Lot is very narrow, so this is gonna be a big challenge for any developer to come in. This is probably going to be 1 or 2 home site anyway, regardless. So at some point, otherwise, I doubt it. I mean, we've done so many of these housing development in the past, and I have so much experience with my engineer, and I laid out many different ways, and this is the best way we can feasibly, with economical sense, it makes sense for us to do it. So,
So you're the developer, you're not the owner.
well, I'm the owner, I'm on the, what do you call, it, due diligence and a contract. I'm about to close on May 24th,
Okay.
me and my son, and
Is your closing contingent on this plan?
you know, it is contingent upon closing on that type of thing. I mean, like more of a verbal agreement, a gentleman's agreement. But yeah, I have due diligence that expires on Wednesday, and then the money goes hard. But I think that's you're gonna have a challenge on this lot with any developer coming or any homeowners to build any homes here. That's why, I mean, even the previous owner that whoever submitted, shared some information with us, and it was 4 lots and it went down to 3, and just couldn't fit the home properly, you know.
Thank you.
Thanks for allowing your time, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, any thoughts, please forward them out to us and we'll forward them out to the
Okay, so
applicant.
are you done?
I'm in good shape, yeah, that was my
Okay, if there are any other questions or comments, I'll close the meeting. The meeting's adjourned.